Across the globe, colossal green spaces are tucked inside the world's busiest cities, huge, sprawling parks that offer refuge to city life. Join me, I'm going to count down the top 15 largest urban parks in the world. Starting with number 15, Bosque de Chapultepec, Mexico City. In the heart of one of the world's most densely populated cities lies a sprawling green sanctuary that has served as both a historical treasure and an ecological refuge for centuries. Spanning more than 1,600 acres, Chapultepec, meaning Hill of Grasshoppers in Nahuatl, is not just the largest urban park in Latin America, but also one of the oldest. It's known as the Lungs of Mexico City. It's a rare combination of cultural heritage and modern recreation, nestled within a bustling metropolis. The park is divided into 4 distinct sections, each with its own atmosphere, history, and design. The first section is the most famous and the most visited, home to Chapultepec Castle, a palace that once housed emperors and now serves as the National Museum of History. Lush trees, walking paths, fountains, and serene lakes make it a magnet for families, joggers, and tourists. Chapultepec is more than just a recreational area, it's a cornerstone of Mexico. The origins of it date back to the Aztecs, who considered it sacred and used it as a place of retreat for nobles. Efforts to preserve and restore the park have intensified in recent years. The Chapultepec Cultural Project, launched by the Mexican government, aims to integrate all 4 sections through footbridges, bike paths, and art installations, creating one continuous ecological and cultural corridor. From above, Chapultepec appears as a massive green block that's pressed against the gridded expanse of Mexico. The symmetry of the museums, plazas, lakes, and promenades is visible on high-resolution imagery, while its sheer scale stands as proof that even the most crowded megacities can preserve green space at a monumental scale. Number 14, Richmond Park in London. On the outskirts of London, Richmond Park is a remarkable expanse of untamed grassland, ancient oak trees, and roaming deer that feels worlds away from the chaos of the British capital. Covering about 2,300 acres, it's the largest of London's royal parks, and it's one of the biggest urban parks in Europe. More than just a green retreat, Richmond Park is a designated National Nature Reserve, a site of special scientific interest, and a conservation model admired worldwide. Established in the 17th century by King Charles I as a deer park, Richmond has maintained its wilder character, resisting the manicured landscapes common to most city parks. Over 600 red and fallow deer still roam freely across the meadows, adding to the park's sense of ancient tranquility. The park's topography is rolling, with sweeping views that once inspired painters and poets. Isabella Plantation, a 40-acre woodland garden at the heart of the park, is famous for its flowering azaleas and rhododendrons in spring. But beyond the beauty, Richmond Park plays a critical role in London's ecological health. It contains grasslands, wetlands, and woodland habitats that support rare insects, bats, birds, and fungi. Recreation, of course, thrives here too. Cyclists ride along designated loops, horseback riders follow the bridleways, and runners navigate scenic trails. Yet strict protections ensure minimal disturbance to the wildlife, with zones where access is restricted during sensitive breeding seasons. In recent years, Richmond Park has also embraced some digital conservation tools. Drones and satellite imagery help track land use, monitor tree health, and study the effects of urban encroachment. From above, though, it stands out like a green continent adrift in southwest London. Its irregular shape and open expanses differ sharply from the neighborhoods and motorways surrounding it. Richmond is not just a park, it's London's last frontier of pastoral serenity, preserved within one of the busiest cities in the world. Number 13, Kings Park, Australia. Rising above the Swan River and the skyline of Perth, Kings Park and Botanic Garden is one of the largest and most striking inner-city parks in the world. Covering 990 acres, Kings Park combines expansive, preserved bushland, meticulously curated botanic gardens, and sweeping urban vistas to create a space that's equal parts ecological sanctuary, ceremonial site, and community gathering ground. Despite its proximity to the city's core, Kings Park remains largely unspoiled, preserving an extraordinary sample of Australia's diverse plants. Officially established in 1895 and expanded over time, the park is named in honor of King Edward VII. Its history, however, stretches back thousands of years, as the area was part of the territory of the Noongar people long before colonization. Many of the walking trails here and plaques throughout the park pay tribute to the Aboriginal traditions, knowledge, and connections to the land. About 2/3 of Kings Park is natural bushland, home to over 300 native plant species, 80 bird species, and a host of insects and reptiles. The garden has over 3,000 species of Western Australian plants, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth. Its carefully designed paths wind through habitats ranging from arid interior shrubland to lush coastal ecosystems. The park is also a cultural focal point. The State War Memorial Precinct draws thousands of people during Anzac Day dawn services each year. Art installations, concerts, educational programs, and community festivals all animate the park's open lawns and amphitheater. The management of Kings Park blends conservation with sustainability. New technologies like drone monitoring and plant DNA indexing are used to safeguard any rare or threatened species, some of which are being reintroduced into other parts of the state. From above, though, it appears like a green wedge that's set against the shimmering glass and steel of Perth's business district. Its elevated position on Mount Eliza makes its contours visible even at lower resolutions. The contrast between the dense bushland, geometric garden plots, and ceremonial open spaces creates a unique visual fingerprint. Seen from above, it stands as an island of wilderness and heritage wrapped inside the urban grid. Number 12. Phoenix Park, Ireland. Covering over 1,750 acres, Phoenix Park in Dublin is not only the largest enclosed urban park in any European capital, but also one of the oldest. Bordered by stone walls and accessible through several ornamental gates, the park is an expansive mix of broad lawns, forest groves, water features, and stately avenues. Yet it remains largely pastoral, less a manicured garden and more a green kingdom where deer can roam freely. Phoenix Park was originally established in 1662 as a royal hunting ground for the English ruling elite, and its character still reflects that open, aristocratic origin. Today, it houses the residence of Ireland's president, as well as the U.S. ambassador's residence, both tucked quietly within the borders. But the park belongs to the people. On any sunny day, the massive fields and shaded groves come alive with families picnicking, athletes training, artists sketching, and tourists tracing their way through the heritage trails. But perhaps the most iconic and beloved element of Phoenix Park is its herd of wild fallow deer, descendants of those introduced in the 17th century. These deer have become the mascots of the park, and their presence provides a thread of continuity through the centuries. Visitors often find themselves caught in spontaneous moments of awe as a herd crosses the road or grazes just meters away. From above, it's a vast emerald slab that's stitched into Dublin's northwest corner. The alignment of its main avenues, the neat borders of the gardens, and the occasional sparkle of reflective rooftops like the Farmley House or the Zoo Pavilions are clearly visible. The expanses of uninterrupted grassland form a visual contrast to the surrounding neighborhoods. Even the deer paths can be discerned in high-resolution imagery. Phoenix Park is a timeless retreat, enduring in its simplicity, yet vital in its modern purpose. Number 11. Flushing Meadows Park in New York. In the heart of Queens, New York, surrounded by neighborhoods, highways, and airports, lies one of the city's largest and most diverse public spaces, Flushing Meadows Corona Park. Spanning over 1,200 acres, it's not only the largest park in Queens, but one of the largest urban parks in the entire U.S. It's also one of the most symbolically rich, blending layers of history, global culture, athletic prestige, and daily neighborhood life into a singularly American green space. This park is best known for hosting two World's Fairs, first in 1939-40 and again in 1964-65, which left a lasting architectural and cultural imprint on the grounds. Nearby are the New York State Pavilion futuristic towers and rotunda, which have become emblems of retro-modern architecture and have been featured in films, art, and video games. Now, Flushing Meadows isn't just about monuments. It is a living, breathing space with something for everyone. The park includes the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, home of the US Open, one of tennis's 4 Grand Slam tournaments. Adjacent to that is Citi Field, where the New York Mets play. A sprawling network of paths, lakes, playgrounds, soccer fields, and barbecue zones crisscross the park, providing year-round recreation for a vibrant, multicultural population. Flushing Meadows Corona Park is not without its challenges. It's built atop a former ash dump famously referred to as the Valley of Ashes in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. The park's terrain has required continuous upkeep and environmental management. Flooding, pollution, and deferred maintenance have plagued portions of the park, leading to community-led initiatives and city-funded projects aimed at restoration and renewal. Efforts to revitalize it and modernize it are ongoing, with these including improved water management systems, increased tree planting, and, of course, expanded Wi-Fi. Local groups like the Flushing Meadows Corona Park Conservancy play a crucial role in balancing accessibility with conservation. But from above, it appears as a long green corridor sandwiched between dense urban grids. The lakes and wooded areas contrast with the surrounding city, while multispectral data tracks water quality. It looks like a sanctuary that's built into New York's relentless pace, a breathing space carved out for people, culture, and movement. Number 10. Stanley Park in Vancouver, Canada. Jutting out into the Pacific Ocean like a lush green peninsula from the city's urban core, Stanley Park in Vancouver is often regarded as one of the greatest urban parks in the world. It encompasses more than 1,000 acres. It's not just a park, it's a temperate rainforest with walking trails, beaches, ancient trees, and amazing views of mountains, skyline, and sea. Stanley Park is a masterclass in balancing natural preservation with city life. The land that makes up Stanley Park has long been significant to indigenous peoples who used the area for hunting, fishing, and gathering for thousands of years before colonization. The park as it exists today was officially opened in 1888 and named after Lord Stanley, Canada's then Governor-General. But the true story stretches far deeper, with ancient cedar groves and culturally modified trees that still bear the marks of indigenous stewardship. Inside the park, dense forests of Douglas fir, western red cedar, and Sitka spruce create an immersive, almost primal atmosphere. Trails like the Beaver Lake Trail and Cathedral Trail plunge visitors into a canopy that blocks out city noise and time, creating a near-wilderness experience within walking distance of downtown. The park's also home to a wide range of attractions. The Vancouver Aquarium, located in the park's eastern section, is a leader in marine conservation and education. Art installations, performance spaces, and guided ecological walks further diversify all the experience this place has to offer. Now, the park has also faced some environmental stress. Severe windstorms in 2006 toppled thousands of trees, leading to a major reforestation project. Rising sea levels too and increased foot traffic now threaten some shoreline erosion, prompting investments in sustainable trail design. But from above, Stanley Park looks like a dark green thumbprint that presses into the blue of Vancouver's waterfront. The perimeter is crisply outlined by the seawall path, while the inner trails and forest corridors form these branching patterns like neural pathways. Stanley Park is a powerful reminder that even in the heart of modern cities, deep nature can thrive. Number 9. Griffith Park, Los Angeles. Covering over 4,300 acres, Griffith Park is not only the largest urban wilderness area in the United States, but also one of the most iconic. In the eastern Santa Monica Mountains and adjacent to the heart of Los Angeles, this park offers a rugged, panoramic contrast to the sprawl and glitter of Hollywood. With steep ridges, sun-baked canyons, historic landmarks, and forested trails, Griffith Park is a striking reminder of Southern California's wild roots. The land was donated to the city by Colonel Griffith J. Griffith in 1896, with the vision of creating a public park that could rival the great civic spaces in Europe. Since then, Griffith Park has evolved into a multifaceted recreational and cultural treasure. The terrain ranges from dry slopes and sycamore groves to oak woodlands and grassland valleys. This all supports a surprising range of wildlife, including mule deer, bobcats, foxes, and even a now famous mountain lion known as P22, who roamed the park for nearly a decade. At the cultural heart of the park lies the Griffith Observatory, a stunning Art Deco structure perched high above the city, offering both astronomical exhibits and unbeatable city views. Opened in 1935 and renovated extensively in the early 2000s, the observatory has become a beloved symbol of Los Angeles, appearing in countless films and photos. Another major attraction is the Los Angeles Zoo, which houses over 1,400 animals and plays an important role in conservation and education. But despite its popularity, it faces ongoing challenges, including fire risk, invasive species, and the pressures of high visitation. In response, city planners and conservationists have focused on habitat restoration. It is also a testing ground for sustainable infrastructure, with solar-powered facilities and native plant landscaping projects underway. But from above, it looks like a jagged green expanse wedged between the urban development and the highway ribbons. Its distinctive ridgelines and fire breaks form organic patterns against the geometric sprawl of Los Angeles. Seasonal monitoring helps track vegetation growth, erosion, and fire damage. Griffith Park looks like a green heartbeat that pulses beside one of America's busiest cities. Number 8. Bois de Boulogne, Paris, France. On the western edge of Paris lies the Bois de Boulogne, a majestic green enclave that spans over 2,000 acres. Created in the mid-19th century under Emperor Napoleon III and modeled after London's Hyde Park, it's not only one of the largest urban parks in Europe, but also one of the most artfully designed. Once the hunting grounds of French kings, it was then transformed into a public park in the 1850s by engineer Jean-Charles Alfland and landscape architect Jean-Pierre Barillet Deschamps. Their vision was to blend naturalistic beauty with elegant utility, and that resulted in a park filled with wooded paths, open lawns, and ornamental water features that attract Parisians and tourists in equal measure. The park is divided into several themed sections. The northern part features a couple of serene lakes connected by waterfalls and stocked with swans, ducks, and rowboats. Pedal boats, too, can be rented for a quiet cruise across the lakes. Trails lined with chestnuts, maples, and beech trees wind through the shaded corners and glades. Another highlight is the Fondation Louis Vuitton, a contemporary art museum housed in a futuristic glass building designed by Frank Gehry. This structure, perched at the edge of the Bois, contrasts sharply with the park's classical forms, but it's become a visual and cultural landmark nevertheless. Parts of it have historically been associated with marginal communities and nighttime activities, prompting some city authorities to implement lighting, surveillance, and social services to make it more welcoming. At the same time, ecological concerns like pollution, invasive species, and water quality are being addressed through targeted rewilding and green practices. But from above, it appears as a broad, leafy patch that flanks the Seine River, standing out against the dense urban fabric of Paris. The lakes, paths, and formal gardens form intricate geometric patterns clearly visible in imagery. Seasonal satellite data reveals changing foliage tones, water levels, and foot traffic hotspots. The park is a masterfully created escape, a green canvas in the art of city-making. Moving on to number 7, Parque Metropolitano Simon Bolivar, Bogota, Colombia. In the middle of Bogota's urban sprawl and high-altitude bustle sits a green expanse that's become the spiritual heart of Colombia's capital. Stretching across more than 900 acres, it is the largest urban park in Colombia and one of the most iconic in Latin America. Now, what makes it really special is the multifunctional nature. It's not just one park, but rather a connected system of green areas. The entire complex serves as a central park for Bogota, offering space for sports, music festivals, environmental education, and quiet moments of contemplation. The park's namesake is Simon Bolivar, the great liberator of South America, and the space echoes of his legacy of unity and identity. At the heart of the park is a sprawling open-air concert venue capable of accommodating over 100,000 people. Massive public events like the Rock al Park are held here annually, drawing artists and crowds from across the continent. Beyond the music, the park also has soccer fields, BMX tracks, jogging loops, children's playgrounds, and lush picnic areas. Tree-lined avenues here crisscross the flower-filled gardens and fountains, while paddle boats and aquatic birds share the central lake. In recent years, Bogota's municipal government has invested in enhancing green infrastructure within the park. Wetland restoration, LED lighting, improved security, they're all part of the ongoing upgrades. But from above, the park reveals itself as a green grid woven into the gray sprawl of Bogota. The central lake with the curling walking paths and performance areas is a standout visual feature. It is a green heart beating in one of South America's busiest capitals. Number 6, South Mountain Park in Phoenix, Arizona. On the southern edge of Phoenix, Arizona, South Mountain Park and Preserve is a stunning fusion of urban access and Sonoran desert wilderness. Encompassing over 16,000 acres, it is one of the largest municipal parks in the US and among the most ruggedly beautiful. With jagged ridgelines, cactus-covered hills, petroglyphs, and panoramic viewpoints, South Mountain is more than just a park. It's a cathedral anchoring one of America's fastest-growing cities. Originally established in the 1920s as part of the New Deal's Civilian Conservation Corps projects, South Mountain Park was envisioned as a place where Phoenix residents could reconnect with their desert heritage. Unlike traditional city parks with manicured lawns, South Mountain is characterized by its wildness. Visitors here encountering towering saguaro cacti, blooming octillos, and desert tortoises, plus roadrunners, rattlesnakes, and a rich diversity of desert plants and animals. This native landscape is a vital refuge for both wildlife and people seeking peace, solitude, and physical challenge. In recent years, the city of Phoenix has invested heavily in trail maintenance, wayfinding systems, desert restoration, and fire prevention, with solar-powered restrooms, eco-friendly parking zones, and water refill stations. Conservation efforts focus on mitigating erosion, managing invasive grasses, and restoring native habitats. From above, the park appears as a green and brown crescent curving around Phoenix's southern border. The trails etch white lines through the rust-colored hills, while the distinctive summit ridge stands out against the flat desert plain. Thermal imaging shows cooler zones along the canyon floors and heat buildup near the trailheads. South Mountain is an ancient shield wrapped around a modern city, wilderness and civilization side by side. Number 5. Villa Doria Pamphili, Rome, Italy. On the western edge of Rome, away from the tourist crush of the Colosseum and Vatican, lies a sprawling green oasis that feels like a secret garden on an imperial scale. Spanning over 450 acres, Villa Doria Pamphili is Rome's largest landscape public park. It's a blend of nature and serenity. This park combines Baroque architecture, formal gardens, olive groves, and a wild forest in a seamless urban sanctuary. Originally, this place was established in the 17th century as the private estate of the noble Pamphili family, relatives of Pope Innocent X. This villa has retained its aristocratic charm. The centerpiece of the park is the Casino del Bel Respiro, a lavish Baroque villa surrounded by terraced gardens, sculptures, and fountains. But the whole park is divided into several distinct areas. To the east, formal gardens feature symmetrical paths, trimmed hedges, and reflective pools designed to echo the grandeur of Versailles. The western section opens into wild, undulating meadows, forested glades, and ancient Roman aqueduct ruins. Joggers, dog walkers, and cyclists wind their way through kilometers of gravel and dirt trails, while artists, yogis, and sunbathers claim quiet corners beneath umbrella pines and plane trees. This place has increasingly become a symbol of peaceful resistance to urban development. Community groups and historians have fought to maintain its open accessibility, preserve its historic elements, and prevent intrusive commercial exploitation. As Rome grapples with balancing heritage tourism and livability, the park remains a sanctuary for Romans themselves. From above, it appears as a sprawling green enclave, breaking the dense residential geometry of Western Rome. The symmetry of the formal gardens, the arc of the historic villa, and the natural curves of the forested areas create a visually rich patchwork. The park reads like a palimpsest of centuries, layered history wrapped in verdant silence. Number 4. 300th Anniversary Park, St. Petersburg, Russia. On the northern shore of the Gulf of Finland, where icy waves meet the western edge of St. Petersburg, Russia's imperial and cultural capital, lies a bold and modern green space, the Park of the 300th Anniversary of St. Petersburg. Built in 2003 to commemorate the tricentennial of the city's founding, this 290-acre park isn't the largest on this list by area, but it is unmatched in symbolism and spatial drama. Developed as part of a larger city regeneration plan, the park blends contemporary design with ecological and civic functions. The centerpiece is a long, sweeping promenade that opens directly onto the Baltic Sea. From here, visitors are treated to dramatic views of the Lakhta Center, Europe's tallest skyscraper, and the vast steel arc of the St. Petersburg Stadium. The terrain is organized into a sequence of zones: open lawns for recreation, birch groves that reference traditional Russian landscapes, winding bike paths, sports facilities, and wetland gardens. Sculptural elements too, modernist pavilions and amphitheaters punctuate the open spaces, designed for festivals, public performances, and quiet reflection. Stone tablets and information panels throughout the park recount the history of St. Petersburg's founding by Peter the Great and its evolution as a window to the West. The park is pretty popular with young families, cyclists, and festival goers. Its proximity to major residential developments and the metro system make it a weekend destination. But from above, the park of the 300th anniversary appears like a clean wedge of green and stone stretching into the Baltic coastline. That long promenade, circular plaza, and sculpted terrain form geometric shapes clearly visible from above. It's not just a park, it's a canvas of civic pride at the edge of history and of sea. Number 3. Parque Ibirapuera, Brazil. In the heart of one of the largest and most dynamic cities in the southern hemisphere, Parque Ibirapuera stands as both a sanctuary and a symbol for Sao Paulo, Brazil. Covering 390 acres, this park isn't the largest in Brazil by area, but its cultural influence, architectural innovation, and social utility make it one of the most important urban parks in the world. With museums, concert halls, lakes, sculpture gardens, and verdant walking paths, Ibirapuera is where nature meets modernist ambition. The park was inaugurated in 1954 as part of Sao Paulo's 400th anniversary celebrations, and much of its iconic layout and structures were designed by the famed architect Oscar Niemeyer and landscape designer Roberto Burle Marx, two of Brazil's most influential creative minds. One of the central features includes the Auditorio Ibirapuera, a world-class concert venue, the Oca, a striking dome that hosts art exhibitions, the Museu Afro-Brazil, which showcases the cultural and historical contributions of Afro-Brazilians, and the Museum of Modern Art. The landscape in this park is dotted with artificial lakes, tree-shaded paths, bike lanes, and sculptural installations. Palm trees, flowering bushes, and native Brazilian flora provide contrast against Sao Paulo's high-rise skyline. And on weekends, the park transforms into a commercial hub. Samba drummers gather, yogis practice on open lawns, kids race RC cars, and couples picnic beside the water. It's a cross-section of Brazilian life in its most vibrant form. From above, it appears as a sprawling green patch that's located within a dense concrete jungle. The sweeping curve of the Marquise, the white silhouette of the Oca, and the triangular roof of the Auditorio are clearly visible. Ibirapuera resembles a living museum, both organic and designed, where urban life slows, reflects, and breathes. Number 2. The Yangpu Riverside Park in Shanghai, China. One of the most ambitious urban green projects of the 21st century, the Yangpu Riverside Park in Shanghai represents a paradigm shift in how post-industrial landscapes are reclaimed and transformed into vibrant civic spaces. Stretching along 2.5 kilometers of the Yangpu River and covering over 200 acres, this park was once part of a dense industrial port zone. Today, it's a seamless blend of ecology, heritage, and futuristic urban design. Now, the riverfront had long been dominated by shipyards, warehouses, and smokestacks. Starting in the mid-2010s, a sweeping urban renewal initiative sought to reconnect the city to its river by tearing down walls, remediating toxic soils, and integrating green public infrastructure. Designed by the landscape architectural firm Turinscape, the park employs principles of ecological resilience and visual storytelling. Boardwalks follow the original rail lines used for transporting coal and goods. Terraced wetlands act as both flood control systems and habitats for local birds. Sculptural seating mimics shipping containers, and educational signage explains the site's industrial past. The Riverside Park is also a platform for community events. Local farmers markets, design expos, yoga classes, and live music festivals are held year-round. The modular infrastructure of the park allows it to quickly adapt to any seasonal needs and citywide events. Its success has inspired similar projects in other Chinese cities, eager to balance rapid growth with green resilience. And from above, it unfurls like a green ribbon along the curve of the Yangpu River, framing one of the world's most urbanized skylines. The preserved industrial structures and angular paths stand in contrast to the organic forms of the vegetation and the waterfront. The park reads as a story told in layers of past industry, present restoration, and a future tuned to the rhythm of nature and the city alike. Number 1. Table Mountain National Park in Cape Town, South Africa. Crowning the tip of the African continent, Table Mountain National Park is not only the most iconic natural feature of Cape Town, it's also one of the largest, most visually arresting and ecologically diverse urban parks on the planet. Spanning over 85 square miles, this park stretches across the mountainous spine of the Cape Peninsula, winding through neighborhoods, beaches, cliffs, and ancient forests. It's far more than a singular mountain. It's an entire biosphere woven into the city's identity. Designated as a national park in 1998, Table Mountain is unique amongst the world's great green spaces. It sits inside a major metropolitan area, yet preserves some of the most biodiverse flora anywhere on the Earth. Over 2,200 species of plants are found within the park, many of which are endemic and occur nowhere else. As part of the Cape Floristic region, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this park plays a critical role in global conservation. The park's geography is as complex as it is breathtaking. It includes the famous flat-topped Table Mountain itself, Devil's Peak, Lion's Head, the 12 Apostles Ridge, Silvermine Nature Reserve, and the rugged cliffs of Cape Point. These landscapes form a dramatic amphitheater around the city of Cape Town and offer more than 1,000 miles of hiking trails. Cable cars soar above, and summit views extend from Robben Island to the Cape of Good Hope. The mountain's face changes dramatically with the seasons, from green and lush in the winter to dry and golden in the summer. Clouds often form the legendary tablecloth, a mist that spills over the summit like a waterfall, casting an ethereal veil over the city. Within the park, attractions abound. Kirstenbosch Botanical Garden is one of the most celebrated plant conservatories in the world, showcasing the region's vegetation with art, architecture, and immersive paths. Boulders Beach is home to a famous colony of African penguins, while Cape Point draws tourists to dramatic cliffside views and lighthouses perched above the sea. Despite pressures, though, the park remains a sacred place for locals and a pilgrimage site for international visitors. It hosts sporting events, full moon hikes, endurance races, and environmental awareness days. It's where marriages are proposed, ashes are scattered, and life is lived on the edge of the world. From above, the park appears like a sculpted spine that divides the city from the sea. The flat summit of the mountain, the serpentine ridges above the 12 Apostles, and the mosaic of vegetation are easily visible in high-resolution imagery. The contrast is pretty striking. Dense neighborhoods press against the wild terrain, while ocean fog creeps inland. Cape Town's green lung pulses with life and story, a living tapestry of geology, ecology, and humanity at the very edge of a continent.